Hola, soy Leslie Foster de Common Ground International and welcome to Bienvenidos a Maestro Miércoles. We have many new members to the group this week, so I just wanted to greet you and say hola. And this group is meant for all different levels of Spanish speakers, for educators that need to either learn or improve their Spanish in order to make a better impact, a greater impact in their educational communities. Whether you are struggling with communicating with your students in class or their parents and guardians, or talking about classroom rules and management and behavior in Spanish, I'm here to give you the vocabulary that you need. And I usually teach in person, so this Facebook interaction is a little bit different because there's not a lot of interaction. So be sure to comment, like, dislike, and let me know if you're using this material. So hoy vamos a hablar de los verbos dentro del contexto de lectoescritura. If you're just joining us, lectoescritura is literacy, and we've been focusing on the past few lessons all about literacy and how to incorporate Spanish words and instructions for talking or teaching literacy to your students, talking about predictions and sequencing and order and argumentation and narrative text and fiction and nonfiction, all that vocabulario en español. So go back and watch those lessons. Hoy vamos a hablar de los verbos. So let's get started. Verbos en el presente. Okay, so if you think about your día in English in your class, and you think about comunicación oral, you can think about all the different ways that you're teaching your students to comunicarse in English or español, and then in your teaching as well. So we have conversación, okay, kids are learning how to converse. Okay, conversación, un diálogo, they're learning how to leer los diálogos, escribir los diálogos. Okay, narración, como ser la nadadora o el nadador de un cuento corto, o escribir como nadador también. Okay, discusión, entrevistas, interviews, exposición, presentación, las argumentaciones, okay, learning how to defend a view or a value or something like that. And of course you use all this oral communication in your enseñanza, in your teaching. So vamos a hablar de los verbos. Voy a practicar con ustedes las conjugaciones. Unos ejemplos. If you think of verbos, here are some examples. Escuchar, to listen to discursos orales, debates or discussions. Formular juicios de valor, opiniones, to formulate, okay, your opinions or your values. Participar en manera interactiva, respetuosa. Organizar un discurso, to organize a debate or a discourse. Okay, utilizar un vocabulario adecuado, diversificar el vocabulario, apoyar el discurso con recursos, reflexionar sobre los efectos del uso de los estereotipos, construir acuerdos. So I put the question out there to the group, what are the most common verbs as you're teaching literacy, that you need to be able to communicate in Spanish, or what are your verbs that you use in your classes? And these came up and muchos más que vamos a ver. So if you notice, esos escuchar, formular, participar, organizar, todos son en el infinitivo. They're all in the infinitive. They're unconjugated. Infinitive means unconjugated. So we're going to work on conjugating them in the present tense, okay? Formar opiniones. So los verbos, here we go. 3 clasificaciones de verbos. Tenemos verbos que terminen en AR. They end in the infinitivo en AR, verbos que terminen en ER, y verbos que terminen en IR. Okay, so when you look at verbs in the infinitive before they're conjugated, that's how they end. And guess what? Regular verbs have a pattern. And so I'm going to teach you that pattern right now. Now, desafortunadamente hay muchos verbos irregulares en español. And for that, they don't follow a pattern. You have to memorizar las conjugaciones, okay? So, AR verbs, and IR verbs. Vamos a ver. Unos ejemplos, okay? Verbos de AR, por ejemplo, hablar, there's a typo in there, should be 1B, okay? Determinar, identificar, analizar, imaginar, y dar. Unos ejemplos of verbs that you guys use with a lot of frequency, and notice that all these in the AR column finish in AR, okay? ER verbs, leer, hacer, ver, poder, tener, those end in ER. And then verbos de IR, ER, escribir, compartir, describir, predecir, to predict, evaluar, y presentar. Those end in IR, okay? Excelente. So, empezamos con los verbos de AR, and you're going to memorize this pattern so you can be able to conjugate and use verbos correcto in sus clases. Okay, so if you take off the AR, por ejemplo, estudiar. You take off the AR, and for the yo, which is I, yo estudio. Okay? Take off, if you want to say you, tú is you, tú estudias. So again, take off the AR and add AS, estudias. Él, he, ella, she, usted, you, formal, okay, estudia. Okay? Excelente. So, columna son los verbos, las conjugaciones singulares, meaning you're just talking about or to una persona, singular. Ahora, los plurales, nosotros or nosotras is we or us, and the ending is amos. So, estudiar would be estudiamos. Excelente. Vosotros, vosotras, the ending is ais, A-I-S, and this is only used in Spain. So we're not going to spend a lot of time here, unless, of course, you have muchos estudiantes de España en sus clases, okay? Pero estudiáis es la conjugación. And then ellos, ellas, them or they, and ustedes, I say think Texas. Ustedes means you all. Or in Colorado, we say you guys. It's a formal way of saying you, okay? And the ending is an, okay? A-N. Estudian. Okay, so that's an example. Now, in mis clases de español, I have a pelota de verbo. You might think this is a football, but it's not. It's a pelota de verbos, a verb ball. And so one way that we practice, and this is good for you too if you're a kinesthetic learner, is we toss the ball, and each of the panels, for example, says ellas, or Juan, or él. And so I'll give you a verb, por ejemplo, an AR verb. Let's say hablar. Okay, ready? If you're listening to this lesson, I'm going to toss you the ball. El. Okay, what's the conjugation? El habla. That's right. So this is a good way to be surprised and to study español and get those conjugations. Tú hablas, estudias. Perfecto. Okay, los verbos de AR, verbs that end in ER. Por ejemplo, leer. Okay, leer. Aquí. Leer ends in an ER. So you're going to take that one off. Y yo, what do you think the yo, the I is? Yo leo. Okay. Perfecto. Tú lees. Okay, with the ES. Él, ella, usted, he, she, you, lee. Nosotros leemos. Okay. Vosotros, vosotras leéis. And then ellos, ustedes leen. Perfecto. Leer is to read. Okay. Otro verbo de ER. Ustedes practicar. Actualmente vamos a practicar con un verbo de IR. Okay, so escribir is to write. So es un verbo de IR or IR in inglés, okay? The yo form is escribo, ends in an O. Always the yo form in the present with the regular verbs ends in O. Irregular verbs changes a little bit. Okay, tú escribes. Okay, so be es, Él, ella, usted, he, she, you formal, escribe. Nosotros, so the plural side right here, nosotros, nosotras, escribimos, imos, vosotros, vosotras en España, okay, escribís, okay, y ellos, ellos, ustedes, you all, them, they, is escriben, with an en. Okay, vamos a practicar otra vez. Por ejemplo, tenemos, vamos a ver un verbo, analizar, okay? Verbo termina en AR, so you're going to whip out the verbs in the AR. Yo es analizo, perfecto. Tú es analizas, okay, perfecto. So ustedes pueden practicar con los verbos, okay? So again, when I asked what are the most common verbs you use in la lección de Lectoescritura, here are some more that popped up. We saw analizar, evidenciar, to support by giving evidence, reflexionar, to reflect on something, interactuar, okay, to interact. So all these you can copy down and practicar las conjugaciones. And not just practice the conjugations, but what sentences are you going to use them in, or questions with your estudiantes. Participar, valorar el contenido, to evaluate, utilizar, to use, estrategias de leer, estrategias de escribir, procesos de escribir, desarrollar, we've seen that verb a lot, it means to develop, seleccionar, disfrutar, to enjoy, fortalecer, to strengthen an argument or a paper or give supporting details, okay? Indagar sobre características, inferir, to infer, sintetizar, to synthesize, y parafrasear. We saw that one in the last lesson, to paraphrase, releer, to reread. Okay, so ahora, vamos a ver aquí. Ahora te toca a ti. Ustedes van a practicar. So, un pequeño quiz para ustedes. Okay, escribir textos. To write text or to write paragraphs. En forma de yo. Think about it. Piensa. Yo escribo. So, if you got escribo, excelente. Okay, otro para practicar. Sustentar, to sustain las ideas con razones, okay, y ejemplos organizados en forma de tú. Sustentar. Ready? Vamos. Sustentas. Perfecto. Okay, otro ejemplo, lograr, to achieve. Lograr cohesión, coherencia, when you're talking about writing, okay. El logra, perfecto. Okay, usar estrategias y procesos de pensamiento, to use strategies or thought processes or writing processes. Okay, usar en forma de ellos, so plural, es usan. Perfecto. Y uno más, apoyar, to support, so apoyar la escritura de diferentes tipos. Con detalles, ejemplos. Vamos a practicar en forma de nosotros o nosotras. Apoyar es apoyamos. So if you got those, you're on the right track. Now, the other thing I asked this group is send me examples of your writing or posters in español where you've been using these verbos. So this is from La Maestra Hannah that teaches bilingual kindergarten, okay? And she was doing a unit on plantas y cómo crecen las plantas. How do plants grow? So you can see semana uno, the kids had their dibuja is draw la planta. So she conjugated this as if she's talking to one student. Dibuja la planta, escribe sobre la planta. So draw the plant and then escribe sobre la planta. Write about the plant. So there's an example of Hannah usando su español. Okay. Otro paso de Hannah, otra actividad, cómo crecen las plantas. Las plantas necesitan agua. So there she is conjugating her verbs. Las plantas crecen de semillas. Okay? Ponemos las semillas en la tierra. Ponemos es el verbo. Necesitan el sol. Again, necesitar is el verbo that she's using there. Okay? Y quiero terminar esta mini lección con un póster que ella tiene en su aula de clase, en su salón, que es muy excelente for all of you that teach in dual language immersion or have bilingual students. This is fantastic. So, ¿por qué hablo español? Why do I speak Spanish? Puedo, so her students this is encouraging her students. Puedo oír los cuentos de mi abuelita y decir familia, madre y amor. So I can listen to stories about my grandmother and I can even say words in Spanish. Familia, madre, amor. ¿Por qué hablo inglés? Why do I speak English? Puedo aprender de mi maestra. I can learn from my teacher. Y decir, I love school in English porque soy bilingüe. Puedo leer libros y books. Tengo amigos y friends. Disfruto canciones y songs, juegos y games y me divierto el doble. Y algún día, porque sé hablar 2 idiomas, podré hacer el doble de cosas, ayudar al doble de personas y hacer lo que haga el doble de bien. So it talks about the advantages of being bilingual, and many of you have bilingual, trilingual students in your classroom. And encourage them to keep that language and continue to learn English or whatever language they're learning. And you guys are doing an awesome job by learning Spanish so you can communicate clearly with your students y padres y otros maestros y tutores en la escuela. Muchísimas gracias. I want to end with a reto profesional. Always a professional challenge for you is how are you going to aplicar esta mini lección en sus clases hoy or esta semana. Use this information, practice it, comment below if it was helpful for you. And remember, we're a learning community just like teachers. We have a growth mindset. Mistakes are awesome because you're going to learn from them. Y si quieren más información, visit us on commongroundnational.com. Adiós, hasta luego.